Have you ever been in a room full of people and still felt like no one could see you? Have you ever been scrolling through your phone, surrounded by noise and messages, yet felt completely invisible, almost as if the world moved on without you? That sudden wave of loneliness, that unexplained emptiness, that moment when you pause and wonder, why do I feel this way? Let's talk about it. This isn't just a fleeting emotion or a bad day. It's something millions experience in silence, a creeping kind of sadness, loneliness that doesn't come from being alone, but from feeling disconnected, from others, from life, from yourself. But why? What causes this sudden drop into emotional silence? Psychologists say that loneliness isn't always about being physically alone. It's more about perceived social isolation. You can be surrounded by people, followers, notifications, and still feel like no one really knows you. Because deep down, we all crave something more than interaction. We crave connection. And when that's missing, even for a moment, the mind panics. You feel the weight. In a hyper-connected world, where you can FaceTime someone across the planet in seconds, how is it possible that more and more people are feeling alone? The answer lies in how our brain evolved. Thousands of years ago, being part of a group was necessary for survival. Your tribe meant food, safety, and identity. The brain still carries that wiring. When we feel disconnected, our brain interprets it as danger. Cortisol rises, heart rate changes. Your mind starts scanning for threats, even when there's no real danger. This is why loneliness doesn't just hurt emotionally, it creates physical tension. And for some, it goes deeper. The loneliness transforms into sadness, sadness into numbness, until it feels like a heavy blanket pressing down from all sides. But here's the hidden truth. This sudden loneliness often isn't sudden at all. It builds up quietly over time. One ignored message, one cancelled plan, one moment when you smiled and no one noticed. Little fractures, hairline cracks in your social mirror. We suppress it, push it down, say we're fine, but emotions don't disappear. They wait. And then, one night, or one random morning, you feel it hit. Maybe you're walking outside, maybe you're lying in bed, maybe you're sitting at work, and suddenly, this quiet thought whispers, nobody really sees me. And that's when it starts. Sometimes, it's triggered by comparison. You scroll through social media and see curated lives, bright smiles, perfect vacations, happy relationships, and even though your rational brain knows it's not the whole truth, your emotional brain still reacts. Why isn't my life like that? Why don't I feel that happy? This spiral is fast and cruel, because loneliness is a liar. It tells you you're the only one feeling this way, that something is wrong with you, that you're different, broken, behind, but you're not. In fact, you're part of a silent majority. Studies from Harvard and UCLA show that over 60% of adults report feeling lonely regularly, and this includes people who are married, have children, or are socially active. So what's really happening? There's something called emotional loneliness. When you lack close, meaningful connections, not acquaintances, not followers, but people who understand your soul. You might talk to dozens of people every day. Smile, work, share memes. But if no one sees the real you, your brain starts to wither. That's when the sadness creeps in. Because connection isn't just about presence, it's about being understood. Some people feel this most at night, when the noise of the day fades and you're left with your own mind. Some feel it during milestones, birthdays, holidays, achievements when no one remembers, or when you remember who used to be there. And some feel it without warning, a random Wednesday, a quiet walk, a forgotten message, and boom, the loneliness floods in like cold air into a warm room. It makes your chest feel hollow, your breath shallow, and your smile empty. But here's the thing. Loneliness doesn't mean weakness. It means you are human. You're built for love, for belonging, for meaning. And your sadness is your mind's way of reminding you, you need more than survival. You need connection. Let's go deeper. Have you ever heard of existential loneliness? It's not about people, or even relationships. It's about something much deeper. The feeling that no one can ever truly understand your inner world. That even in love, you're ultimately alone in your mind. It sounds dark, but it's part of the human experience. Philosophers like Kierkegaard and Sartre believe that this kind of loneliness is the price of consciousness. We think, we reflect, we wonder, and in doing so, we realize no one else can ever be us. But that doesn't mean we're doomed to sadness. In fact, once we accept this truth, we can learn to connect not in spite of our solitude, but because of it. When you realize everyone feels this way sometimes, you stop comparing and start empathizing. That stranger on the bus, that quiet coworker, that friend who hasn't texted back. They might be drowning in the same silence. Loneliness isn't a disease. It's a signal, a sign that you're craving something more meaningful. And the beautiful part? You can find it again. Not in more noise, not in distractions, but in stillness. In truth, in genuine moments. Call that old friend. Send a voice note instead of a text. Be honest when someone asks how you are. Build small bridges, because that's how we fight back. Not with likes, not with followers, but with depth, with being real, with being human. Your loneliness doesn't define you. It doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're aware, alive, reaching. And maybe, just maybe, someone else is waiting for you to reach first. So next time that wave hits, when you feel alone for no reason, remember, your mind is asking for connection. Answer it, not by hiding, but by opening up. Because the antidote to loneliness isn't being around people, it's being with people, truly. Some real cases studies. Case study 1. Jacob, the quiet roommate who vanished. Context: university student, age 21, New York. Jacob was always smiling. Living with 3 roommates in a shared apartment near Columbia University, he was known as the chill guy. He cooked for everyone, always helped clean and never complained. No one saw any signs of sadness. Then one morning, Jacob didn't come out of his room. They assumed he was asleep. By the next day, police had to break the door. Jacob had taken his life during the night. What shocked everyone was what they found on his phone. In his private notes: "I'm in a room full of people and no one knows I'm already gone. I smile so they don't worry. But every night I feel like I'm disappearing." Jacob had nearly 300 friends on Instagram, was invited to parties, but said he hadn't had a deep conversation in over 6 months. Psychological insight. This is emotional loneliness, where we have people around but none truly understand us. Many high-functioning individuals mask depression with smiles and humor. Psychologists call this smiling depression. Case study 2. Maria, the corporate star who broke in silence. Context: mid-30s executive, San Francisco. Maria had everything: a high-paying tech job, a beautiful apartment, and a long list of accomplishments. On LinkedIn, she was a star. But when she went home at night, she would sit on the floor and cry. She told her therapist, "Everyone wants something from me. Clients, friends, parents. But I don't remember the last time someone asked how I was, and really meant it." Maria was suffering from chronic social disconnection, worsened by digital overload. Constant performance, image management, and notifications had replaced real intimacy. Psychological insight. Studies show social media triggers the brain's reward system, but doesn't satisfy the emotional depth we crave. The brain feels socially full, but emotionally empty. This causes dissonance and can lead to burnout, anxiety, and sudden sadness. Case study 3. George, the elderly man with no one left to call. Context: retired mechanic, age 78, Ohio. After his wife died, George stayed in the same home, eating the same meals they used to cook together. He stopped calling his kids, stopped answering neighbors. He said, "I'm still here, but the world I knew is gone." His physical health declined rapidly. Doctors found nothing wrong physically, but noticed his immune system was weakening, a known effect of chronic loneliness in seniors. Psychological insight. Loneliness in elderly populations is now called a public health crisis. It increases the risk of heart disease, stroke, dementia, and early death. The absence of purpose and touch literally changes the body's biochemistry. Case study 4. Liam, the teen who couldn't feel anything anymore. Context: age 16, Chicago, straight-A student. Liam was smart, kind, artistic, but his parents noticed he started withdrawing. No fights, no rebellion, just silence. One night, he left a note that said, "It's not that I want to die, I just can't feel anything worth living for." Liam was diagnosed with depersonalization derealization disorder, often triggered by emotional detachment or trauma. He later explained, "It's like I'm watching my life from behind glass. I don't feel pain or joy, just numb." Psychological insight. This condition is a defense mechanism. When the brain feels overwhelmed, it numbs emotion to protect itself. This causes a disconnection from self and reality, often misdiagnosed as depression or mood disorders. Case study 5. Nadia, the influencer who felt invisible. Context: lifestyle influencer, age 28, Los Angeles. With over 200K followers, Nadia was living the dream. But in therapy, she confessed, "When I close the app, I feel like I don't exist. I built this version of me online, but no one knows the real me. She struggled with identity crisis and anxiety. Each dopamine hit from likes wore off faster. She was surrounded by attention, but starving for connection. Psychological insight. This is a modern paradox. The more we perform our lives online, the more we sometimes lose ourselves. The brain becomes addicted to surface-level approval, but the emotional brain still craves truth, vulnerability, and real intimacy. Loneliness can feel endless, like you're wandering through a fog, searching for something you can't name. But healing begins, slowly, with small, gentle steps. Step 1. Notice your feelings. Don't judge them, write them down. Sometimes, naming your loneliness is the first act of self-compassion. Step 2. Reach out, even if it feels awkward. Call someone you trust, not to solve your loneliness, but to share a moment of honesty. Hey, I just wanted to hear your voice. Sometimes, that's enough. Step 3. Move your body. Nature has a quiet way of reminding us we belong. Go for a walk. Breathe the air. Let your senses anchor you in the present. Step 4. Practice small acts of kindness. Compliment a stranger. Help a neighbor. Send a message just to say, I'm thinking of you. Connection grows in the smallest gestures. Step 5. Care for yourself with softness. Eat nourishing food. Rest. Listen to music that soothes your soul. Healing doesn't happen all at once. It's a series of gentle choices. Remember, loneliness is not a flaw. It's a signal. A reminder to reach, to open, to let others in. You are not alone in this feeling, and you are worthy of connection, just as you are. If today feels heavy, try one small step. Tomorrow, try another. In time, the fog lifts. The world feels a little warmer, and you remember, connection is possible, even after long silence. You matter. Someone is glad you're here. And if you need a sign to reach out, this is it.